The richest farmer in the valley lost half his fortune because of a crack no wider than his finger. Daniel owned the largest grain storage in the valley, built by his father and expanded year after year through careful harvest and good fortune. Every season his storehouse grew fuller, his reputation grew larger, and his patience for small problems grew thinner. He believed his time was too valuable to waste on minor repairs when there was always more important work to manage. One autumn, a worker noticed a small crack forming along the base of the storage wall, no wider than a finger. "Should we patch it before winter?" the worker asked. Daniel barely looked up from his ledgers. "It's just a crack. Fix the irrigation gates first. That matters more right now." The worker nodded and moved on to other tasks. The way workers always did when told their concerns didn't matter as much as something else. Across the field lived a poor farmer named Old Yusuf, who owned a storage no bigger than a single room. Every single year, before the first cold wind arrived, Yusuf inspected every wall, every gap, every loose stone, patching what needed patching, no matter how small. His neighbors sometimes laughed at how much time he spent on nothing, when his harvest was barely enough to matter. "You worry over crumbs," they would say, "while Daniel worries over mountains." Yusuf would only smile and keep working. Mountains are made of crumbs nobody bothered to clear away. Winter came, and with it came the rats. They found Daniel's small crack within the first cold week, widening it slowly, patiently, the way nature always finds the weaknesses we ignore. By midwinter, an entire colony had moved into the walls of his storehouse, hidden and multiplying in the warmth of all that unguarded grain. Daniel noticed the damage too late, only when he saw grain spilling from a hole far larger than the original crack had ever been. He rushed workers to seal it, but the rat had already established themselves deep inside the structure, breeding faster than any repair could undo. Within weeks, nearly half his harvest was ruined, gnawed through, or fouled beyond use. That night, Daniel couldn't sleep. He lay awake replaying the worker's question over and over. Should we patch it before winter? A single sentence that now felt heavier than anything in his ledgers ever had. For the first time in his life, he felt something close to true helplessness, the kind no amount of money could undo. The next morning, he walked through his storehouse in silence, and the workers who once rushed to please him now only looked at him with quiet pity, none of them saying a word, because there was nothing left to say that he didn't already feel. Word spread quickly through the valley, as bad news always does. Then old Yusuf arrived at his gate, carrying 2 sacks of grain from his own modest harvest. Daniel looked at him, confused and humbled. "Why would bring me grain? I have always had more than you. I never once helped you." Yusuf set the sacks down gently. "Help isn't a debt we keep score of, Daniel. It's simply what we do when someone has less than they did yesterday." He glanced at the damaged walls, the scattered grain, the rat holes still visible along the base. "Besides," he added, "I patch my walls every year not because I expect disaster, but because I respect how much a small neglect can grow into." Daniel sat with that thought long after Yusuf had gone home. He had always measured wealth by the size of his harvest, the height of his storage walls, the reputation his fullness gave him in the valley. He had never once measured the quiet discipline it took to keep something small from becoming something unmanageable. The following spring, Daniel rebuilt his storehouse differently. He inspected every wall personally, no matter how minor the crack, no matter how busy his schedule claimed to be. When workers brought him small concerns, he no longer waved them away as unimportant. He had learned, at great cost, that the smallest unattended problems are the ones that eventually consume everything else. Years later, when his storehouse stood as the most carefully maintained in the entire valley, people often asked him the secret to his success. Daniel would only smile and repeat words that were never originally his own. Mountains are made of crumbs nobody bothered to clear away. Take care of the small things, and the large things will rarely have a reason to fall.